So let's go. This lecture is about the last chapter of the book of Jason Corey, and the book ends with like a set of strategies to analyze songs. I mean, in general, it's a bit, sometimes there are some lectures and some chapters in books that are a little bit like boring, in the sense that it's like, come on, like, are you really going to write a whole chapter about that? But at the same time, those boring things can be deceiving and can give us more information than what we think there is there. One of the big problems, and I mentioned this to you yesterday, one of the big problems that happens when you're doing music is that the choice of reference is badly chosen for whatever reason, because the people don't know enough what they want. They don't know well enough, what they want, or they're just not clear of what a reference is, of how it works. And a big deal of what we're going to do today is to have a discussion about that. How to listen to songs, how to analyze them, and how to use them as a reference for what you're trying to do. It happens to me a lot that I'm recording a band that is like, or whatever, a music project that, I don't know, imagine that they are sort of, well, I mean, as you know, I work mostly in rock music, but I don't know, imagine that Alice gives me as a reference, like, imagine that you give me Victor Soy as a reference, like, for your music, and it's like, I mean, me as a producer or a musician is like, what? Like, how can I transform this into something useful? So the goal of this chapter of the book is kind of like for you to avoid that, but it uses everything that we have been considering until now as a resource of points of view of like what should we analyze. I imagine that maybe this lecture will be a bit shorter. I don't know, because the material goes quite fast, but we will see. And we will make an analysis. We will read the analysis of one song that he made. And I think that that's really critical, because it will give us an idea of how we should be analyzing songs when we hear them. So, anyways, without further ado, let's go. But Roma, I was going to forget again.
Oh, thank you.
I was going to forget again. No, I haven't forgotten again. No, I haven't forgotten again. So let me just write here, technical ear trainer, Jason Corey. Привет, guys. So yeah, here it is. So let me just go to the site. Yeah, here it is. What that? Okay. The first thing that is happening, I'm answering a question to Roma about how to do the technical ear trainer, and then we will continue. So, okay, dynamic compression, that's the one that, dynamic range compression, that's the one that you're asking. And let me just load this song. I'm going to load a song. Like, I think, Roma, that for everybody to know what's going on, I'm trying to give indications to Roma on how to work with the technical ear trainer of dynamics. Okay?
Like with the attack and the
Yeah.
release time, I don't
Correct.
understand how it influences the sound.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. Well, and that's obviously very important. I mean, that's kind of like the goal of the whole course, and I think that everybody should have the, I think the the courage that Roma is saying. I really, I mean, I think that everybody, or not everybody, but many of you are in the same circumstance as Roma is, but only Roma has the balls to say it. You know, what I'm trying to say is that nobody understands compression really. Like, I mean, I'm sure, maybe you guys do. Okay, maybe you do. But I don't think that
I
you.
can hear attack. I can hear me. So
Yeah, but I'm sure
I
that
can.
I believe that for sure. I don't want to say nobody can understand compression. I don't say everybody can know more about compression. So in any ways, no, we're not having a lecture about compression again, just in case. Yeah, it would be desirable. I agree with you. That's exactly what I'm trying to say right now. And yeah, and next year we will have a lot of that, but well, for the engineers. But anyways, going back to Roma, I mean, Roma, I'm very happy that you're saying this, because it's kind of like being honest. Like, I don't get it, and that's more important than just pretend that you get it. Obviously, I'm not saying that any of you are pretending. I'm just saying I'm happy that Roma said this. That's all. Okay, Roma. In order for you to grasp this, I think that the choice of song matters a lot. First, like, I mean, one of the things that will matter a lot is the choice of song. If you would load something there, like, I don't know, maybe, I think this potentially is going to be easier to understand when you load an acoustic song of acoustic guitar, or the opposite, something that is just like very predictable, transient. Let's try to hear.
I tried to load different tracks, like I load snare bottom, I load kick, I load right, and after like 50 tries, I don't really get this. What is doing this like attack time, release time? Because if I change little bit ratio, the all sound with ratio, я понимаю, как работает. Все остальное нет.
Okay, let's start to answer you. I don't know if you were in this lecture or not. Let me start to answer you with a slide here that we discussed in one of our lectures. And there is a pack in my presentations for развитие. There is a lecture here that is called wait, let me tell you, Geek Talk in class practice, thinking about compression. Is lecture 23, and inside lecture 23 there is going to be a slide that is going to be useful to visualize the attack and the release and what they're doing. And here, wait a second. Yeah, here it is. Have you seen this slide before, Roma? Ah, you're not seeing the screen. Wait a second. Wait a second. Stop presenting and let me move to the screen. A tab. And yeah. Have you seen this slide, Roma, before?
Nah.
Well, yeah. So we discussed this in class. Can you try to, when you see this, do you understand something? Or I want to see if you can reach yourself to the explanation.
Like this green thing is compressor, and it's attacking the sound and pushing it to the threshold.
Yeah, you can say it's more like it's a visual representation. It's showing you like how much compression is happening. In one case, it happens immediately. Boom, you see?
And
in another case, it happens gradually. Oh, you see it?
Yeah, so the second when we're setting up the attack, it's the second how attack pushing the sound. Yeah?
Which one? Wait, which one do you think is a fast attack and which one you think is a slow attack?
This is slow attack.
Correct. And this one next?
No, this is fast.
Okay. Now, which one of those two is going to have a heavier? Like, I mean, which one of those two, the transient, is going to sound louder?
Slow attack.
In the slow attack. So yeah, in the second option, like when I have a slow attack, the more of the transient comes in, you see? Oh, and so it means that I will hear it more. And that means that the amount of compression that will happen is less. I mean, because there is less of that pink area that is getting compressed or whatever, fuchsia, I don't know how to call that. You see? So a faster attack will automatically compress more.
So if we get back to the ear trainer,
yeah,
where like крутишь эту штучку, дрючку, как with the settings of attack, yeah.
Да.
So the bigger attack is faster, yes.
Let's look at this. No, the opposite, because this number is in milliseconds, so it's like 100 milliseconds is more time than 2 milliseconds. I'm just kidding here with the guys that are here physically. I'm just like showing them like how impressive my mind is that I could figure that out. 100 milliseconds is bigger than 2. So, so I mean, 100 milliseconds will be a slower attack time. I'm going to now I'm going to grab this thing. I was like doing some beats here. By the way, we created some pretty cool song. Let me show it to you. We were just making some beats. Wait, like we were just making some beat, like, and then we have this second part, third part. We're just doing some stuff.
Hear anything.
Yeah? Yeah, I know why. Yeah. Yeah, you don't need to hear it exactly. Just wait a second. I just want to export something, and in order for me to export something, wait, now you will hear. And then we were doing this thing like here, like it was like, And then there's a transition. This was with the foundation. We were doing it now, like. We were just kidding, yeah. And what is here? Oh no, this is some other stuff. Some like melody we were trying to make, like, yeah. But anyways, what I'm doing, Bratan, I just want to export something to put it in the ear trainer. Wait, I want to do this guy. This guy, I think. Yeah, this guy. Let's see if he can help us, because I think it could be a good thing to recognize what the hell is going on there. So I'm just going to export this sample here. Let me just make it longer. File, export audio, and WAV, bye-bye. Put it in the desktop there. Let's run this. Let me get out of here and go back to your trainer. So, okay, that was useful, right? What I just showed you to start visualizing
it. Was useful, but
I will continue. Yeah, I haven't.
The principle, but I understand like
how it sounds.
When you have the sound.
Yeah, we will get there. I just I want to show you another slide. I want to show you another slide, which was the lecture that came right after that. The lecture that came right after that, we had this lecture about dynamic range. And I want you to pay attention to these diagrams. I mean, not necessarily right now, but just make sure that you watch them. I'll explain you what they are. It's a representation of how a compressor works. So you see, like, when you have, wait, the thing is loading. When you have a slow attack, you see, like, oh, the compression happens gradually. Do you see it here? Do you see my screen?
Yeah.
And this is the same visualizations that I was showing you right now. This is like a really fast attack, and then it just stays there. And I mean, it's not a really fast attack, but it's like it's not gradual. It's just like happens in an instant. And in here you have like, this is a short attack and release. This is a medium attack and release. Just come and see these slides too, and meditate about these visualizations, because they're going to be really useful so you can feel it. Okay, so that's that. Now, let's go back to the technical ear trainer. I need to share my screen with you again. So basically the hint there, what I'm trying to tell you is that you're going to have to pay attention to the transients. And you're going to have to pay attention to how the transients get shaped. You know, the other thing that I can do that can help you to visualize what's going on, and you should do this too. Like, I mean, I'm going to flatten this, and I'm going to, once I can do something in Ableton, I'm going to flatten this, freeze, and then flatten. Thank you. I'm gonna flatten this. One sec. I'ma flatten you. I'ma flatten you, boy. Let's go. Come on. So it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. And let me freeze this now. Flatten. 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 Nice song here. You guys are creating a really nice song. I'm gonna flatten you, boys. That's the song. Very. Okay. Look, Pratan. What I think you should experiment too, so you can understand compression better, is I'm gonna grab any compressor here, audio effects, compressor, and I'm gonna drop it here. And I'm just gonna render it and see how the waveform changes. This is important. So let me just compress. I'm gonna put a really fast attack, bit of a medium release, and I'm gonna compress a lot. Wait.
Are you doing something? Because I just see trainer.
Yeah, I see. Just a second. Yeah, just like I hate this. Of course, man. Do everything you need. Yeah, I'm doing something just like right now. I'm compressing here. I'm compressing here, just compressing. And well, obviously this sound that you're hearing is like a lot of it. It's a transient, so I'm eating a lot of the transient. You should be able to hear it already, like there. If I make the attack slower, I get more of the transient. So basically, one way to know what the compressor is doing is to remember how your sample was. Like, oh, my sample had a lot of a very strong attack, very strong kick. And now I hear less of that kick. So it must mean that the attack is fast. You see?
I don't hear a sound, but I see the visualization. Yeah.
You don't hear the sound? Wait.
Yeah, there's no sound.
Gotcha, gotcha. Ah, yeah, I know why. Somebody was playing with these functions here. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so now you hear the sound. If I put the attack slower, you will hear the kick again. Because it's not being compressed. If I put the attacks very fast, a lot of that transient goes away. Or all of it.
So it become flatter, yes?
Not flatter, just the transient disappear. I don't like to use the word flatter there. It's more like the transient.
So transients that you're talking about is like high transients.
Transient means like a udar. The udar disappears.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I just made something for the interest, and actually, it's a really cool thing, guys. Here present, like when I put the gain makeup to start boosting again, and look at this, really cool. Like it's a really cool compression case. What happened there? Like, what do you hear that changed? Look, like this is how it was before compression, and now I compress. The tails become more apparent because the compressor makes whatever was quieter to be loud, and the quieter part was the tails, and the transient disappears a little bit. When I'm doing this, like if I put the release a bit slower, even, it's totally different sample. Because we know what it's doing now, we can visualize it better. Okay, Roma, to finish your question. Now, let's go back to the technical ear trainer. So, go back to the technical ear trainer, to a tab, and jump to here, here, here. Okay, and I'm gonna load these tracks that I just did, reveal in Finder. And you see, I encourage you, Bratan, to make your own sample, that you know how it behaves, that you have seen how it works, that you have seen how it compresses, and then do the technical ear trainer with that sample. So, okay, let me see if this works. Yeah, I exported the whole thing. Yeah, I get it, but it's okay. I think I can make a selection. Wait, look, here's a selection. Great. And I can make it louder. Are you guys hearing what is going on here or not? Online?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay.
Yes.
Great, great. So, look, I'm trying to listen to the question, and this is really extreme case. Wait. You see, like, I mean, I don't know. I think that this is, wait, makeup gain. What do you think is that? It sounds like there was an error or something. Ah, guys, I think, no. I exported it with a compressor. Yeah, that's why. Wait. Yeah, because it really looks really weird. Yeah, wait. Let me just export this.
Yeah, it have this sound like every file I take to this ear trainer, it become like this sounding, and it's very strange.
Yeah, wait, no, but in this case, give me a second. Give me a second. In the case, I think that I made a mistake. I'm just fixing this problem. Just give me a moment. 1258, let me see it. Yeah, no, I had made a mistake. Yeah. Your response, just a second. No, but also, Bradan, you need to also work out here. Wait, the question. Wait, let me just go here to the question. This is a question, and this is a response. Should be very fast attack. Yeah. Should be very fast attack. Yeah. That's it. Check answer. Yeah, it was 2 milliseconds. So what am I listening to? Look at my response. Do you hear right now the music, the sound?
Yes.
Okay, look.
Yes.
If I change the attack time, now that you know what's going on, like it's really extreme case of compression here. So in one of them, the transient totally disappears. You know why it's so weird? Because the release time is very fast. That's why it's so weird. No, well, I was thinking, but I'm wrong. Yeah. Yeah, but anyways, I don't know. The only thing I can tell you to focus on is on the transients, Bratan. Like in this case, was really clear.
Yeah, I understood. And can you tell me about release time? Or what?
Now, then you should think about the tail, like of it. You should think about the tail. In one of them, you're focused on the attack is going to manipulate the transient element, and the release is going to manipulate whatever follows the transient. So let's see. Let's see another example. Let's go to another question. Let me just do a release time exercise here. Let's see if it becomes obvious. Here it has a fast attack. Like the fast attack thing is still there. I really think that this is like that. Yeah, I was correct. Let me go to the next question. It feels like it's the same. Check answer. No, it was 320 milliseconds. I couldn't hear it well. I can also change the makeup gain just to hear it better. Yeah, I see the point. Yeah, you need to focus on the tail, bro, on the body of the sound. Not on the transient, but on the boil. If you hear it with attention, I can hear it here. There is a bit of the low end. It's louder on the second one. Do you follow me there?
Yeah, I try to understand. Yeah.
Look, Bratan, there is a there. You know what? When I tell you the word oomph, do you know what that is? Oomph. It's like a kick sound has a transient, and it also has a oomph.
Like low kick, like
the air that follows this. So
and it's become wider. Yeah?
It becomes louder when the release time is slower. It becomes a bit louder. Yeah. So in one of them, the transient becomes quieter, and in the other one the oomph becomes louder if the release time is slow, because there is more time for the gain compensation to occur.
Okay, I will practice today and try to.
But if you see this, if you come back to these slides and kind of feel it a little bit, read it, like it will help you to see it visually too, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Lectures 23 and 24. All right. Okay, guys. So let's go. I promise you that today's lecture is one of those lectures that is a little bit like, really, like this guy really wrote a chapter about this, but it's the last chapter of the book. And I thought, like, we can do it. Come on, like we covered the whole book, and that's really great. So we did it. This lecture is called like Analyzing Audio, and it's kind of like he wants to help. I explained this before you guys arrive. I'm just repeating it for you guys. I described yesterday that choosing a reference is a really important thing, like in general, and so this chapter is kind of about that, about like how to choose a reference, what should you be paying attention, and he kind of uses all the concepts of the book in one summary in this chapter. So let's go. Choosing a good reference is, and learning from another song is key. Like I told you, sometimes you're going to run songs through a visualizer, and then you're going to see like, oh man, like this guy or this lady, when they mixed, they are cutting all the high end all the way till 20. I was telling you this yesterday. And then this means that you can do the same. So it's kind of going around that. In case you need it, I know that you have actually, I want to try it. I want to try this thing. And it also has AAX. There is a free analyzer, and there is a reason why I recommend you to use this guy. Let me try to install it quickly. It seems like it's going to be fast. Let me just close this. Close Ableton. 1 sec. And can you close, please, Ableton? Quit live. Yeah, save it. In the desktop, whatever. Delete. Okay, so there is one reason why I like this guy, and I would encourage you to use it, and it's about the correlation meter, which is something that is really useful that it has it. And in Ableton, I think there is no correlation meter, if I'm mistaken. The correlation meter is something that indicates you the phase, if the phase is correct or not in something. Okay, are you gonna make me do this? So I need to find this folder here called library, Macintosh ID, biblioteche, and then, yeah, come on, just automatically copy it. And it's like audio, right? Plugins, VST, yeah. And so let's drop this, copy this thing here. Can you, oh, great, look, it had a shortcut, nice, oh my God. Okay, so here's the, ooh, very advanced. So here's a VST3.
We can see just.
Yeah, you don't need to see it, Bratan. It's okay. We're just installing a software. We're just installing a program. But okay, I get it. I'm gonna change it right now. I see you're seeing the ear trainer. Wait. So let me show my entire screen. Okay, so I'm just installing a plugin. The plugin that I'm installing is this one. Here. Oh, wait. We were here. The spectrum analyzer. And so we open this website, Voxengo. And Voxengo has a nice spectrum analyzer. I just installed it. It should be there. Let's see. Why I recommend you to use this one, like I was saying, because it has a correlation meter. And a correlation meter is a pretty useful thing. I guess well, I don't know how long it's going to take. You know, sometimes Ableton takes a bit to load. So let's leave it there loading. And let's go and continue. All right, let's go through this, shall we? So, all right, we are trying to seek for help in the work of others. So when you are listening to a sound recording, you are kind of like listening to how something, it's very different than a live performance. That's what he's trying to tell you there, the writer. Because it provides you a clear and focused experience and has a sense of space. When you're in a show or something, you're in a very different experience. Recordings can offer clarity when you're hearing musicians, but they can also make you feel you're listening from a more distant location due to reverberation or something like that. So you want to be able to pay attention to music and understand and be able to extract its several layers of information that are there. This is what the author is trying to take us with this chapter. Of course, every recording has some unique tonalities. I just so you understand what's the goal, where we want to get to. It's to a moment when the author analyzes a song. I chose a song by Phil Collins that he analyzed. And I want you to see how he hears. And so you can hear the same. That's my goal with this. So, of course, each recording has unique timbre qualities and spatial characteristics and dynamics and etc. So we need to learn when it first listen to a lot of stuff and genres and styles and everything, so we can see what were the choices that each one of the engineers made. And we need to become familiar with different mixing styles for mixing genres. So obviously our biblioteca of sounds in our heads is really amazing. When making a project, you can use external references to just kind of like base your balance, base your sonic decisions and things like that. And I really recommend you to, this is really important. And if you are not doing this, you should. Like you should a person who is at your level and the more you're progressing in your career, you should be listening to music based on who made it, not just on what you found on a blog or something, or on a podcast or on a chart. Like, it's a great thing to do. That's how I discover music nowadays. I just search my favorite sound engineer, and then I see what's the latest work he did. This is, and that's how I find great bands. Like, you should really do the same. So let's use an example. Can you tell me an artist that you like a lot? Yeah, just any. Huh? Wolf Alice, like that? Okay, so if I search Wolf Alice here, this one, right? My Love is Cool. Okay, so let's see who made this. Let's see who made that record. So who is the personnel here? So let's see. Bass guitar, design, guitar, lead vocals. Look, Mike Crossi. He's the producer of this. Have you ever heard of him? No, I'm sure you haven't. Yeah, of course. And then now this is how you should be listening to music. It's like, okay, what other things in here you can show? You can arrange this from the latest to the newest one. So you see, as a remixer, vocals, instruments and performance, writing and arrangement. So this guy has like credits in the 1975, for example. And Nothing But Thieves. You're gonna see a lot of things. He has some like credits in the Killers record, so it's obviously a huge producer. And well, you get my point. How much music you're gonna find here? It's infinite. Like imagine in the case of one of my favorite guys, Will Jeep. I recently went to Will Jeep, and I was like, oh, let me see what's up with Will Jeep. Okay, he has 440 credits. Wait, let me see the credits. And I went like and sorted out by date, the newest one to latest one. And I fell, where was it? How was it that I ended up there? Wait, vocals. Yeah, I was like here, like technical, just to see like the albums that he has recorded. And you see, you will see this. I just wanted to show you this. You see this album here, Cloakroom, and then you go to here to our channel, and then you will see it there. Like that's how I got there. It's amazing record, and it's one of the albums that I hear the most nowadays. Like I hear it like almost every week. It's really great. Anyways, you get the point. It's a great way to discover music, but that's not what the lecture is about. Here it is. Like yeah. So all right. Basically use websites like this to build your reference library. It's really cool. Exploring recordings from engineers and producers, mentioning your reference can aid you to understand different production styles and techniques. This lecture is a bit boring, guys. I'm sorry, but I think that there is one moment that will be really important. Hooray! Let's go through it. To develop critical listening skills, you have to explore sound recordings and understand different characteristics. That's obviously the sound quality and technical fidelity of a recording impacts how well the musical meaning is translated. So obviously good recordings are great. Analyzing the stereo image of recordings help us understand reverberation, delay, spanning, layering. You see, I care. The rest is could be seen as kind of BS, but I care about this list. For example, if you, I was kidding. y'all, if you kind of think about this list when you listen to a new song next time, I assure you, these are one of those lectures that are stupid, but are not stupid at the same time. Like, I assure you that you will hear differently. It's like, okay, what am I trying to understand? Overall bandwidth. So what does it mean? Well, where does the frequency spectrum ends in this song, and where does it starts? Like, for example, and what I did today, what I was planning to do is to open this Voxengo plugin that I hope that it was installed already. Plugins here. Here it is, Voxengo span. I wanted to load this Voxengo here in the master. Is it working already? Yes, great. We have a free visualizer that any of you can install. So I have this Voxengo, and I wanted to just grab and load. This morning, I copied all my mixing references that I have that I listen when I'm mixing somebody. I always listen to this. I copied them to a flashka, and I just brought them here. So let's see. I'm gonna load this Red Hot Chili Peppers. Oh wait, I have activated this morning auto warp. Let me just switch it off. Auto warp. Yeah. Let me just load the Red Hot Chili Peppers song, and let's see. This is this very beautiful acoustic song. So. Road tripping with my two favorite come on. There it is. Okay. So what would be the bandwidth of that? It's kind of like from, you see, there's nothing above 20K. You can see up here. You can see up here in the corner. You see which frequency I am there. So it's kind of like in between 19K and 20. I mean, there is information there. So the whole full range is there. And I had the intention to, in this lecture, to just compare things and see other stuff, like, and see how those mixes looks like when you put them here. So I have M83. The what? It's showing you. First time I use this guy, usually that is like maximum level it arrived. It's saving it so you can see it as a comparison. But I think wait a second, let's see it. We're gonna figure it out. I think it's RMS versus peak, like always. Like I think that this is when you click it, it clears. These are. Yeah, look, it has LUFS. Nice. It has also LUFS. It's really nice. DVFS. And this is a zoom in and zoom out. Like vertical. Yeah, I'm trying to just figure out like what's the. I mean, I'm thinking it's peak and RMS, but I don't know. Yeah, look, like here RMS. Wait. statistics. Oh wait, RMS. And remember the crest factor. Remember that concept? We discussed it yesterday too. Like this is a great meter, by the way. It's really great. Just a mirror for the sun. Wow, it's so different. Yeah, no, it was a memory of the loudest ever that ever arrives to slower. And actually, right now it has no memory. So what does it mean off? Like it doesn't work. That's very funny. Okay, default. Yeah, you see now it doesn't have this like memory because the the hold is no. Oh, nice. You have middle and side too. Oh, it's really nice. But now, yeah. Okay, I'm just learning here with you guys, so I'm sorry for my hide meters and stats. Solo copy means meter routing default. Okay, well I'm gonna move on a little bit. I think that the question has been answered. Spectral balance. I mean, the spectral balance when you're hearing to something is just like meditating about. Okay, this is more heavy on the low end than the higher end. That's pretty obvious. The auditory image. He's going to explain them a little bit later. So I mean, I think that what he means in this by auditory image is like how wide it is, how narrow it is. For this, you need another type of meter that I have shown you before that is called like neometer. Neometer. Wait, neometer audio. Yeah, this guy. Like the jellyfish is called like that. By the way, I didn't research on a free neometer plugin. I'm sure there is, and that would be good to install too. Tone booster, neometer, free. This one. Get it for free. Perpetual license. Can I get it for free? Yeah, macOS, great. Yeah, I'm really happy to find this because I always wanted to find a free neometer. Oh, I guess some anti-Russian shit. Alright, I'm not gonna suffer for this right now. Let me see if there is another one. Oh no, it's the same one. Yeah, but I cannot download it right now. Well, anyways, here is a free neometer. I'm gonna put it here, by the way. So, spectrum analyzer, free neometer. To measure the neometer. So click here, edit, and let me just put this here. Great. So with a VPN, you will be able to download it. What else you want to see? You want to see the spatial impression. I really don't know what that is. Like, I'm honest with you. I don't know what he means by that. I see auditory image as whiteness. Spatial impression, I'm a bit lost there. Reverberation, obviously how reverberant the song is. Time-based effects, does it has a delay, a reverb, etc., like a deeper reverb. What's the dynamic range of the song? What are the changes that happens in level or in gain in general? Are there any artifacts from the dynamic processing? For example, this, I think that it's the MP3 encoding, but I feel some hyper compression here. Like, I mean, I just feel it. Especially in the acoustic guitar. In the bass, I hear it. But, I mean, I believe that the engineers who make this are so good that I attribute that to the artifacts of the MP3. Does it has distortion or not? And how does the engineer who makes this balance the elements of the mix? So this is a discussion that he talks about, like, hey, how are we going to analyze bandwidth? So obviously it's a range of frequencies that are present there. When you want to analyze it, you want to see if the bandwidth is limited in some way. I was curious to see, because you could say, no, Leo, but come on, like all songs have a full bandwidth. Like, obviously not. Let's see. I was curious to load. I have here Portishead, like the latest record, like third. And in the third record, I'm pretty sure that the bandwidth is not gonna be full range. Like look at that thing. Like, it's such a narrow bandwidth. It's crazy. Like. It's like this is kind of like this. It's like how Diedushka listens, how you listen. It's kind of thing like, what? It's some shit like that. So FM radio has a limited bandwidth, by the way, that is about 15 kilohertz. So everything you hear on FM radio, it's kind of like has almost no information about 15 kilohertz. I mean on the radio, just on the car. And standard telephone communication kind of goes in between 3 kHz and 3 kilohertz. So if you're gonna call somebody on the phone and playing them some music, may it be Portishead, so because it has nothing above 3 kilohertz anyways. No, I'm kidding. So well, obviously the recording medium affects the bandwidth. Clearly, when the bandwidth is narrowed, you can hear it by like as if you're running a high pass or a low pass. It's very obvious. And when judging the high frequency extension, it's important to consider high voice overtones present in the recording. Let me read this 1 second and analyze it. While the highest fundamental pitches in music generally don't above 4,000 hertz, yeah, I mean, basically you will feel the lack of bandwidth by focusing on the cymbals, something like that. That's what he's saying. And you can maybe, some engineers want to narrow that bandwidth to represent an acoustic instrument in a different way. Then the author moves on towards spectral balance. Like it's like, how do we analyze the spectral balance of a song? Obviously, it's the relative level of all the frequencies. And you can analyze it by identifying specific frequency resonances in the spectral analyzer. So this is really cool. Like if you look at this and you start noticing on these peaks, you will see that they are resonant. And this is an interesting conversation to have. Wait, I see. I cannot do it like this. I just want to do it like this. Like so. I mean, what this means is like when you're analyzing a song, you can look at these peaks and kind of see where they sit. 2.5, 45 kilohertz. Look. I mean, I'm very tired, guys. I promise you. So if I'm pissed yet, I apologize already. But I'm just telling you. Like I went to sleep at 2 and I woke up at 6 because I haven't built the presentations for today for my 3 lectures, and I built them between 6 and 9 a.m. Like it was just like that. So that's why I'm so tired. I'm sorry, but like if I do this, if I go to TradingView, I'm re-explaining you what this lecture is about because I just saw it more clearly. If I go to TradingView is like the website that people use to look at like when they're gonna make investments, to look at a chart like this. Like if you look at a chart like this, yeah. I'm just trying to explain you what this lecture is about, and I also wanted to see the price of Bitcoin because the market is rallying. No, I'm kidding, but what I'm trying to say is like, if I show you this chart, you don't know where to look. You don't know what it means. I mean, you know that you see something, it's like price of something, but you don't know where to focus your attention on. And this lecture is kind of about this. It's like, okay, now that you know everything that you know after this course, what information should you be looking at when you're listening to a song for your benefit? Like, so back to this, one of the important informations that you can look at is those peaks that you see there and what are the resonances that you see. Like, for example, this peak became here very prominent. This is 656 hertz. When is the previous one? It's 370. You're going to see that a lot of them are going to be octaves. Like, this is telling you a lot about the spectral balance of the whole thing. It's like, what are those resonances and where are they coming from? Nice, nice. I'm really happy that it hasn't fallen yet. I mean, yeah, it's really great. Yeah, I love this website. I really see it a lot. I spend a lot of time here. It's like, it's kind of like how you analyze markets and stuff like, but anyways, it's really great. So the power spectrum of an audio signal helps you visualize the spectral balance. The most common method to calculate the power spectrum, this is exactly what we're doing, is to use a FFT visualizer, and it's what we're doing right now. Shows frequency content, relative amplitudes of frequency bands. When you're analyzing the spectral balance subjectively, try to listen to the recording as a whole and ask the following questions. Are there specific bands that are more prominent or lacking of energy? So let's refocus our attention in this Portishead song that is a bit of an extreme case. So, I mean, there is an obvious answer to these questions. Are there any specific frequency bands that are more prominent or lacking in energy? There is no low end in this song. Like, I mean, I'm joking, but there is practically no low end and no high end. Yeah, and it's very boxy. it's a very boxy recording or mix. Like it's a very boxy recording. So it's like kind of like very prominent on 600 hertz. Like that's how you should be listening, 700 hertz. Can you identify resonance, peaks, and their approximate frequencies? So I mean, this guy is kind of trying to take you to the point when you hear this and you're like, 3K, there is a peak in 3K. Like, are there any specific musical notes that stand out more than others? That's a really interesting question to ask too when you're listening to a song, you know. And yes, there are. I don't know which notes exactly are, but look like. The note. Oh, you see, Murat pointed out something really important, of course, that it's telling us which notes are there. Like, I mean, if you see here in the visualizer, guys, online, you can see the note where we're sitting. So that's an A sharp 3, D sharp 7, A sharp 4. Like you see, like all your A sharps. I have never thought about that. This is a very easy way to find the tonality of a song. By the way. Yeah, nice. I haven't thought about this. It's a great way to find out tonality of a song. Okay, so that about placement, spectral balance. The next thing that the author goes to explain is like why these resonant peaks happen. You know, it can be for equalization, Microsoft placement, Microsoft. Excellent. Microphone placement. That's my brain in malfunction. Microphone placement. And some characteristic of the instruments themselves, like Microsoft Neumann, Microsoft Neumann, Windows 87. So resonant modes can be present in. I mean, there can be resonant modes. We know why these peaks can be there. The author is just reminding us this at the end of the book. All these factors contribute to a spectral balance that can be creepy. So it's just something to pay attention. When you're listening to music. Analyzing the spectral balance help you to understand the distribution of frequencies and how different factors affect the tonal characteristics of the overall balance of the sound. That's pretty clear. The next thing he asks us to focus on is what he calls the auditory image. So it's a mental representation of the external world constructed by listeners based on what they hear. So, I mean, it's kind of like you close your eyes and you hear that thing and you see the drummer, it's there, and the singer, it's here, kind of thing. Listeners can localize sound images that come from a combination of audio signals played through a pair of arrays or loudspeakers. When sounds are positioned between the speakers, it creates a stereo image. Even though you have only two sound sources, it's possible to create the illusion that things are located in different places, obviously. So you see, going back to this question, auditory image means more like about the position. Now I understand the position of the elements in regards to the speakers and when they're falling, and the reverberate, the spatial impression. I still don't know what it means, actually, to be honest with you. Let's continue. I think that he develops it, but I don't remember. So when sounds are positioned up, creating a complete stereo image that spans from left to right, of course, is important. So you need to hear how wide or narrow things are. So now we are in a little bit in another type of comparison. Let's see if we can get something from it. Let's try to compare two rock songs instead of comparing some trip hop with electronic. Let me see here. I have the Bronx. The Bronx mixes are always huge. It's kind of like rock music, very like kind of like rock music for bikers kind of thing. Yeah, it's pretty like, you know, energetic and something like this. Is Joe Barrisi, again, my favorite engineer. I'm gonna compare it with Nirvana. Wow, I didn't know that Ableton can listen to Flux, by the way. Everything. These are such different mixes. It's crazy. Notice something really funny when I jump in between Nirvana and the Bronx. How Nirvana has almost no mid-range, like low mid-range. Look, like what you, it's what we call the cream. Like in the guitars, it's like the cream. It's kind of like 700, 800, 900, 1000. Let's go to the distortion. Now I cannot understand which one is wider here. I mean, in this system where I am, I cannot understand. What do you think? Do you feel something there from when you're sitting? It feels like one is wider.
Yeah.
Huh?
I know. You said about cream about 700, 800. You mean that in Nirvana they are like boosting this frequency?
Nah, Barot, that the Bronx has a lot more than those frequencies. Let's see it on the spectral analyzer. Like,
yeah, I just remember that you said about these frequencies when we talk about mixing guitars. It's like cardboard.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, cardboard.
Like, it's like flatter frequencies.
It's like low mid range, between, I would say 400 and 1,000 hertz. Kind of like I feel more of that information on the Bronx mixes. Notice the and this is kind of what this conversation should be about. Like, notice the high end, for example. Look at it in the spectrum analyzer. Look at this. That's very different spectral balance there. And look at that. Huh? It's wider. I also think so. But you see, it can be actually those high frequencies that you're hearing there, that you're seeing there. It can be the presence of the high frequency. Notice something. He will later. I also wanted to hear a lot of music with you and compare it. He would later talk about the balancing between instruments. Notice that's a very, very interesting thing. Like, well, this one is louder too. Wait. I want vocals. Like, you see, the vocals in Nirvana are extremely loud in compared to the music. Like, and in here, this is very classic Joe Barresi stuff. When you hear Tool, Deftones, he did all of these records. You feel like that the vocalist is kind of behind everybody. And actually, that's so cool. When you watch Tool live, I really like that they do this a lot. I really like that they do this. It's a representation of how their mixes are. When you see Tool live, you see that, look at their position on stage, like nowadays, like look at their position on stage. Wait, this one? Yeah, I think. So if you see their position on stage, like the singer, it's on the back of everybody. Like the singer stands in that thing there, on the back of everybody. Yeah. Yeah, and then everybody's there on the front, like bass player, drummer, and guitarist, and the singer is there on the back, and you kind of like, it's not a protagonist. And I really like this. It's how I like things to be as well. So comparing that comes. Ah, yes, Fox singers, exactly. So I mean, here the author describes like, okay, how do you achieve this illusion of stereo? We discussed it before. Stereo microphone techniques can give you more control over it. Different music genres have different conventions of how to pan things. Of course, this is all going to change depending on the genre. And panning and placement of sounds affects the clarity of an individual element in the mix. The width and spread of a stereo image can be analyzed by considering the balance spread from left to right, the monophonic or wide nature of the image, the locations and widths of each individual source sounds, and the spatial attribution of sound sources. So if you ask these questions, can help you to understand a little bit better the spatial impression. So, well, sorry, that was about auditory image. Now on the spatial impression, now we're going to know what he means. Yeah, I mean, it's just basically the combination of like reverberation, time-based effects, and all of this. It's kind of like the space that the audio is printing. Reverberation, echo are a part of it, of course. Early reflections are things that you're paying attention to. The size of the space you're trying to understand is an important thing that you need to be paying attention to. Obviously, if you have longer reverberation times, you're going to have a larger acoustic space. This is going to change how your song is perceived. Classical music recordings often capture, I was reading this morning, and I think it's important, like, of course, when you record an orchestra, you're going to be recording a hall or a church or something like that, to reproduce this digitally is really hard or almost impossible. I mean, even though the reverbs are really cool, but yeah, there's nothing like the real thing. So what things you can be paying attention to when you're listening to something in terms of the spatial impression? The apparent room size, which would, I guess that we can put this both in the same question. I made a mistake there. Is there more than one type of reverberation present in a recording? Like, I mean, are there one reverbs or two? Is the reverberation real or artificial? What is the approximate reverberation time? Are there any echoes or long delays in the reverberation and early reflections? Are sounds placed in front clearly distinguished from those on the background? Is it blurry, or is it all everything is clear at the same time? That's a cool question. What's the spectral balance of the reverberation? Like, because sometimes you cut the high end of the reverbs, things like that. I mean, again, we're identifying what should we be paying attention when we are listening to something. What is the direct versus reverb ratio? We discussed this in Fly Sound, remember? I mean, I was talking to you about that when you're making a recording, you're thinking a lot about, maybe I told this to the foundation the day after you, I don't remember. But anyways, you're always trying to think about that ratio between the direct sound and the reverb in general. Like, I mean, it's something that is always important for us. Are there any strong echoes or delay? Is there an apparent time-based effect, such as a color, chorus, or a flange? We're almost done here. I mean, the rest is kind of like more conversation. I'm not going to talk so much about dynamic range. We spoke so much about it, but he's kind of telling us, hey, let's focus as well on the dynamic range. Obviously, when we analyze songs, use a peak meter to see the microdynamics. Usually pop and rock songs have not such a large dynamic range because everything is very compressed. 20 dB fluctuations in dynamic range indicate that this song has a wider dynamic range than what's usual. The human auditory system responds more to average level than peak levels when perceiving loudness. So when we're trying to analyze the dynamic range, your peak levels are not so important to us. Analyzing involves listening to level changes in individual instruments. Okay, level changes, dynamic level changes can enhance musical intentions. We discussed this very much. That's why I'm skipping it quickly. And then he tells us to focus on noise and distortion. So there are different types of noise that can happen. You should hear this in the recordings that you're trying to hear. For example, where is it? Where is it that I heard? I mean, in so many songs, I have identified the guitar buzzing or some hiss or something. Like, that's cool. So yeah, I don't find anything really critical here to discuss. What I really care is when we get to the explanation of how he analyzes songs. The instrumental balance, we just discussed that when we were listening to Nirvana and the Bronx. What you're paying attention to is like, well, the relative amplitude levels in different mixes. Every style is going to have different balances, obviously. You're trying to see the whole thing as a whole to see what things are coming out or less from the mix. Sub features to consider include the temporal nature of spatial location components like attack, decay, sustain, and release. I mean, you also think about not only the instrumental balance, but also the attack, decay, sustain, and release of each instrument. Trained listeners can identify specific features in reproduced audio that may not be obvious to understand. That's obvious. Perceptual encoding algorithm. Development relies expert. I'm going to delete this point. I don't need this point. Okay. And yeah, I mean, I was saying if there is something special there, but there's nothing special there, I can tell you. Now, he analyzed this song by Peter Gabriel. And, you know, this song made me think it's so amazing the power of music. I don't have a good relationship with my brother. I mean, I have a brother that is the first son of my dad. And we haven't spoken like for, I don't know, 5 years or something. Like, we just don't get along well. Like, and he's way older. I mean, he's almost 60. And I heard the song this morning, and this was one of his favorite songs, and I was like, fuck, I need to call him now. Like, I mean, after I heard the song, I was like, I need to fix this relationship. Like, just, it's so amazing the power of music. If I wouldn't have heard this song, I wouldn't have been doing this. But today I'll call him, and I'll start, like, to get closer to him again. It's just because I heard this song. Like, yeah, it's not even about what the song is about. It's just, it reminded me to him, and yeah, let's just hear the song for a bit, and then...
so lost sometimes. Leave us, and this emptiness fills my heart.
I guess
Leo, there is no sound in
I-
translation.
I'll fix it. 1 second. Tab. Here we go. Yeah. Here we go.
When I want to, I travel in my car.
such a 90s or late 80s thing, like to do.
I come back to the place you are.
What a cheap video, actually. It's such a cheap video. It's like they're using this like old, well, maybe, no, I don't think this is a soundtrack. This is like an old movie.
All my instincts,
But anyways, yeah.
they return. The crowd beside, so soon we'll burn.
So I mean, that's the song. Let's see kind of how he analyzed. The reason why I jump is I want us to analyze one song together at the same level. So you see, he starts, and we should start like this by telling us who is a producer, Daniel Lanois, and you see, and that's where this Cox shines. I mean, this Cox is amazing. Like, I mean, obviously we can go. I mean, I'm just right now curious to see, because this guy is a bit from an older generation, and I really think that if you find him, you will find, obviously, you will find his discography. That's the man who produced that song. You see, you will see here that, I guess that if I search him, like, where is it? Appearances, albums, 36, singles and EP, compilations, credits. Wow, yeah, that's the guy. Yeah. So anyways, it's a really good way to discover music. And Peter Gabriel, engineered by Kevin Kellin and Daniel Lanois, the David Geffen Company. So look at how he analyzes this song. This track by Peter Gabriel is a study in successfully layering sounds that create a full mix timbrally, dynamically, and spatially. The music starts with chorus piano sound, synthesizer pads and percussion, bass and drums enter soon after, followed by Gabriel's lead vocals. This is a quote from the book. Of course, I'm not paraphrasing this. There is an immediate sense of space in the first note of the track. There is no obvious reverberation and reverb at the beginning. Let's go back and listen to that. 1 second. You know why even though, again, this is one of those things that is like, really, why are we talking about this? But you know something that happens a lot when you don't have perspective, that you end up putting reverb always, for example, in everything. And then you don't think like, oh, but there are all these songs that don't have reverb at all. And maybe we shouldn't be putting reverb everywhere. So the first thing that he's making us note is that there is an immediate sense of space in the first note of the track. I want to see if we can catch this. Let's see what he means. Yeah, I mean, you kind of feel that you're in some sort of hole or something, like right away, like it's not like dry, or you're not like inside a living room or something. It's more like a tish. There's no always, well, I don't agree with this, by the way. There is no reverberation decay at the beginning. I don't agree with this. Yet the combination of all the sounds, each with its own sense of space, creates an open feeling. I agree with that. Reverberation decay is more audible after the chorus, when the percussion and the synthesizers vamp for a few measures. So in the chorus, Viera, I think that you should watch it again. It's just like I arrived to this moment again and bye. So yeah, I mean, here obviously the reverb level augments. So reverberation decay is more audible after the chorus, when the percussion and synthesizers come in. Despite of the multiple layers of percussion, such as talking drum and triangle, along with the full rhythm section, the mix is pleasantly fully, yet remains uncluttered. It's true. The mix of the Bronx is very cluttered. It's like, but this mix is very like, you feel you can swim into it, like you can just like drive into it with your car. And the various percussion parts and drum kit occupy a wide area in the stereo image, helping to create. I mean, I have a moving chair, so what you can do. And I get out of the frame, you know, from the YouTube stream, like. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So the vocal timbre is warmly yet slightly gritty sound. It's completely supported with the variety of drums, bass, percussion. Again, this mistake, sorry, percussion. And synthesizer through this piece. Senegalese singer Youssou N'Dour performs a solo at the end of the piece, which is layered with other vocals that are panned to the sides. The bass line is punchy and articulate, sounding as though it was compressed fairly heavily, and it contributes significantly to the rhythm of the foundation of the piece. Distortion is present in few sounds. I think you can hear distortion in the keyboards a little bit, like an overdrive. Starting slightly with the slightly crunchy drum hit on the downbeat of the piece. Other sounds are slightly distorted in places and compression effects are audible. This is certainly not the cleanest recording to be found. Well, I think it's quite open, but well, quite clean, but yeah. Yet, the distortion and compression artifacts work, add life and excitement to the recording. Overall, this recording demonstrates fascinating use of many layers of sound, including acoustic percussion and electronic synthesizers, which create a sense of large open space. Okay, great. So, let's do one. I'll give you, we can do that. It could be interesting that Portishead song, but I also have a lot of stuff here, so let's just choose one song here and see where we get there. So, I mean, any genres you want to see? Whatever. Let's do reggae. The new one, the new Queens of the Stone Age.
No, the classic one. Go with the flow.
I just don't have it here. I have it. I have one song of Queens of the Stone Age. There is another question here, which is they want to see. Some people like Elvira want to do reggae. How do you guys feel about doing reggae? I have a good idea. I mean, what? Yeah, I have a Marley, but you guys know King Toby. King Toby, you know? Yes. So I have some King Toby here, and wait.
We can compare them.
We can compare Bob Marley, and that would be a nice thing to do, actually. Comparing Bob Marley with King Toby. Like, it would be an interesting thing to do. But of Bob Marley, I have a live album, so it's not good. I mean, in the sense that it's different. It's not the same. Like, so you can't blame the youth. Yeah, I think that it's not a good example because I'm gonna be honest. I like the proposal of Queens of the Stone Age because they really have a particular sound, a very particular sound. You see, it's so dry. It's so freaking dry. Like, it's so automatically dry. Like, so I would start describing this song. So I mean, it's gonna end up being Queens of the Stone Age.
What's the song?
If only.
I don't.
Yeah. Wait, Queens of the Stone Age. Like, we're gonna end up doing Queens of the Stone Age. If only. Let me just. Yeah, we can write it down, right? If only. Okay, and let me grab this here and kind of try to do a similar analysis like this guy did. Okay, I'm sure that while doing this, most likely we're gonna run out of time. I mean, while we're doing this, I'm sure we're gonna run out of time because I really need to leave in 12 minutes because I have another lecture later. But so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna quickly run through the rest of the stuff I have here, and then I will come back to this analysis. So we do it until the end of the lecture. I put you this video here just for fun. This is a really funny video. No, and it's a really cool thing. Like, yeah, it's a really cool thing. Like, drawing elements in the sound horizon. This is the chapter ends with this commentary about putting.
It's like drawing the rooms for songs. I actually made it
Exactly.
And I thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And this video is not about that. This is a very famous old school mixing video, and it's really funny. I have mentioned it to you, but I just really like this first. And first, I like how 90s the whole thing is. Just give it a second. I mean, the guy is just like perfect 90s. Yeah, you see, like it's like the position of elements in space. It's a great artwork, by the way. Super vapor wavy. Yeah.
Wow!
The first video, introduction
No, wait till you see the guy, man.
to visual representations of imaging. What makes a great mix? Introduces you to our framework for displaying sounds visually.
Bands,
We'll map out how each piece of equipment
Volume
in
faders,
the control room affects imaging,
equalization.
the
Yeah.
apparent placement of sounds between the speakers. We begin by mapping out the space between the speakers. Then we'll explain
Yeah.
the mapping of sound to visual.
Doesn't get more 90s
Once
than that.
we've built a visual framework, we can then use it to
Yeah, so I mean, this is a really, really cool thing. And actually, like I mentioned to you once, I use this plugin of Isotope Visual Mixer. It's really cool. And it kind of looks like this when you're mixing. Like, wait, Google. It looks like this. Yeah, you see? I use this a lot. It's like all the components, like left, right.
We can see.
Yeah, I see.
It's like this is the picture of how it should be, yeah, like the position of every instrument.
There
Or
is
it's
no
just-
answer to how it should be. I mean, this is just a representation of one mix.
I see.
Yeah, there it can be in infinite ways. The image that I wanted to show about the isotope visual mixer, it looks like this. You see, like you put elements on the mix, and then they are represented three-dimensionally, well, bidimensionally like this, like tick, 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 left, right. It's really cool. And then you can change the widthness. I use this a lot. And when you make automation, it's amazing. Like you see these elements moving around, like it's really cool. I talked a little bit about it. I'm sure I have mentioned it to you. Anyways, I put this video here to discuss it. The author just says like, hey, if you do this experiment of trying to imagine the room where you are, it's a really powerful thing. He gives a template on the book, and then the other thoughts he discusses, it's a little bit about higher sample rates. Like just quickly, I'm going to run through this and I'm going to tell you a couple of things in the end. So the CD has 44. We will come back to the analysis of the song. I just wanted to cover everything and then go back to the analysis. The compact disc is in 44, 116 bits. I mean, CD in any ways it's relevant. The format is relevant because it's what we use to upload to streaming services. When you have higher bit depth, such as 24 bits per sample, you improve the audio quality, of course. The sampling rate determines the height frequency that can be recorded. I explained you this is the Nyquist theorem. The highest frequency that can be recorded is half the sampling frequency. That's the Nyquist theorem. Higher sample rates like 96 kilohertz, 192 will give you a higher bandwidth. Obviously, you can record higher frequencies, even though you don't hear them, but you can record them. While the difference between high sample and CD quality audio, it's subtle. If you compare them, this can help you to fine-tune your listening skills. Some engineers claim that a recording made at higher sampling rate and then downsampled to CD quality sounds better. Remember, you need to use dither when you do that. And there is something called Super Audio CD, which was like a bit of a flop. It was like, imagine, 2 megahertz sample rate. So that would be kind of like 200,000 kilohertz, something like that, around that. 200,882 for sample rate. So when you hear it through loudspeakers, high fidelity loudspeakers, it would be easier to understand those differences. Of course, high quality reproduction systems don't always have to be expensive. I mean, this is so useless. Now, I put you here this video, which is a little video about Super Audio CD. And I put as an extra thing some little video about the Dolby Atmos and what the hell is that and how does it works and stuff. And this guy says something that I agree, and this guy too. They both say the same. It's like, after you experience, you guys were with me in Fly Sound and you heard the Blade Runner there. It was amazing. Like, wait till you hear your music mixed like that. It's amazing. You don't want to go back. Like, I don't care anymore about stereo sound at all. Like, I want all my things to be in 5.1. Yeah, 5.1. But I want everything to be 5.1 now. Like, all the albums I make, I want to make a lap on the sound record like that, of course. And then, like, the drums are here and everything is spatial. It's really cool. So, okay, back to this. Queens of the Stone Age, if only. So, first thing we need to do, if we're going to make an analysis at this level, I'm really going to spend only 6 minutes doing this, which means that I will not finish it. But let's try to get as far as we can. So we want to do this Queens of the Stone Age. If we're going to make an analysis at this level, let's start by this. So this song, it's on the album. Here it is. If only it's on the album from 1998, on the album called Queens of the Stone Age. So the first thing we need to see here is who produced this. Wait, the credits are gonna be credits here. Joe Barresi, obviously. So there you go, man. This man is a monster, man. It's so great. So this is the song, If Only, by Queens of the Stone Age. So Queens of the Stone Age. The year is 1998. Produced by Joe Barresi. And so on. I mean, I'm not, as I said, I'm gonna do this quickly, so I'm not gonna finish everything, but yeah. We have here Técnico de Tambor. So funny that it's in Spanish. I'm just seeing who is in the Hodge, yeah. Who is in this? Joshua Holm, Steve Feldman. There is another engineer here. Steve Feldman, Alfredo Hernandez, drums, Holm, yeah, etc. Okay, that's cool. So we got that, and so okay, let's have a listen a little bit more and determine a little bit more what's up with that song. Let me open it in Audacity. The best. The best. So, stop. It's importing. Wait. Продолжить, верно? Yeah. And here we go. Okay. Well, you see, it's quite compressed, like really heavy. So the first thing I hear is like it's super dry. It's like
on this
okay. Yeah. So can I put it in Ableton so you guys can hear, or can I, no, because I need to hear it in Audacity, man. It's like a necessity. No, I'm kidding. I don't have to, but I just love Audacity so much, and I'm gonna send Audacity to you. Wait, now it should be. Now it should be there. Wait. What's up, Ratan?
What do you mean when you write extreme panning?
I mean, you don't hear it there because I think you're hearing in mono, but there is like a super hard panning of a guitar way to the left. Like we are hearing it here. I think that the signal that you get there is in mono with Google Meet. Something like that. I mean, these are the.
Leo, you're like ChatGPT. Bro, how do you hear this?
Yeah, well, I mean, what I think that it stands out the most in this mix in comparison to, and it's a part of the style of this band in comparison to other things, is this thing. Like, all instruments have quite a fast attack and short release times. Like, in general, everything. I'm not talking about compressor, it's just like the envelope of each instrument. You see, the snares are not like, da. Like, if you hear, like, if you think about Fear Inoculum by Tool, for same engineer, by the way, same engineer. If you hear the song, there's a song called Fear Inoculum by Tool, and if you go here too, you see like the snares are kind of like, it's like a whole thing that lasts, it's like a very long reverb around everything. But in here, like, so very dry short room, and you see like, for Roma tells me, wow, it's impressive that you can hear all of this. I'm sure you can all hear all of this. I'm pretty sure this is nothing special about that. But obviously, I can mix better when I can think about this. Like, I mean, if you can hear this, you will be able to achieve this in your mix. It's really important to be able to identify these things. Like,
You're right here that the spectrum of bass guitar is mostly 18 and 2500. Yeah, it's like he has some boost of this.
Yeah. You don't feel that like it's like ranging up. Like, if you want to hear something that it's like, look, if I open.
I feel 80 hertz, but I don't feel 2000.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm imagining that's where it's ending. If you hear Deftones, for example, Deftones have a. By the way, I posted recently this album Koi no Yakan. It's like incredible Deftones album. And if you hear, you guys online are not gonna hear it now. Like, you hear it later. But if you hear, yeah, I exactly wanted to hear this moment. If you hear the bass, like, you will hear that thing goes as high as it can go. This bass. There is a lot of high frequencies there too. Yeah, it's really amazing. This song is really amazing. Let's continue. Quickly see it before I go. All instruments are quite fast attack. Not so many doubling happen. I think things are not doubled. It's all very direct. Like, there's no double tracks or something like that. Sometimes in the vocals. Extreme panning is used to provide clear identification between parts. Vocals are quieter than usual for this style. Again, it's Joe Barresi. It's the same thing. Snare spectral balance has no information below 125 Hz and no information above 3000 Hz. I don't hear like tsh. Spectrum of the bass guitar is mostly concentrated around 800 Hz. Kick is not so rich in low end, mostly focused around 120. And I think that I'm going to say this, breaking the rules that I told you to do in this course. I mean, I was telling you, don't like to try to avoid using words like creamy, crunchy, and things like that. But with Queens of the Stone Age, you can only say this. Guitars are very creamy. Like, they're very creamy. Like, what do I mean by this? They have this like low mid-range, nosy feeling. Like, ho ha ha, ho 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 ha. And now that I told you, you will hear this. Look, focus on this frequency. You just heard it there. Like, you got the beginning. Like, etc. So
it's like 700, 800.
yes,
Yes.
it's something like that.
Uh-huh.
I would say to be more safe, like from 600 to 1200, something kind of like that. But yeah, that doesn't mean that the other frequencies are not there. It's just, and well, I'm doing a worse job than this guy because I'm making it a bit faster. But that's kind of like, if we hear like this we can extrapolate this towards our mixing. Okay, friends. So yeah, this one is a bit more blah blah. Yeah. And he writes like a bit more beautifully, like, I mean, not in a good way. I don't mean it in a good way. Embellished. Yeah. That's very British. It's a very British way of doing things, because this guy is British. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of like an analysis of something of Queens of the Stone Age. All right, so I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, I'm sure this is the end of the technical development of the technical year. Woo! It was so cool. I love this course so much. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm really looking forward to give it again next year. And so the last thing we have together will be a mixing exercise I'm going to do on Monday. Like, I really tell you, you guys don't have to come. I mean, it would be online. You don't have to join me simultaneously. I will do it anyways. My goal with this is sort of like to wrap up the mixing course and to leave you a video in the music satellite that is kind of like my usual mixing videos, but I will be explaining everything I do. It's like a tutorial. And I will be jumping sometimes to Ableton to explain what is equivalent in Ableton of what I'm doing there. I will be working one of the songs of my clients, so it's also beneficial for me. It's all cool. And so, yeah. And then after that, we go straight ahead to next year. So that's pretty cool. Friends online, Lena, Grisha, Trafimov, Roman, and Gleb. I say goodbye to you.
Thank you very much, Leo. Bye-bye, bye-bye.
We did it. We did it. Давай, друзья, see you later. Grisha, see you later. I'll be at 3 at home. I'll see you for the next lecture. Давай. Пока-пока. Ciao. Yeah, of course. That's how our lives is. The Valhalla. I like the Valhalla. That's how our lives are, yeah.
Oh yeah, there is 11.
It's so true.
Да, я прям, у меня все проблемы. Я всегда сижу, я платье на ревера заставил, все, типа. Я до конца жизни, понимаете, все, вы больше от этого не избавитесь. Никогда так обывателя. Даже если вас будет... Наверное, типа, ебать, типа, да? Говно. Песня охрененно, тут тихо.
That's some shit I sent last night. I'm just hearing it. It's some horror thing, so it's what I was showing you yesterday. Sirius wanted to hear it, like, Papa, show me the song. I was like, no. Like, no, I want to hear your music. I was like, no. Yeah. I was like, no, don't touch this. Yeah. It's quite scary. Yes, some stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. He asked me to. He asked me for more epicness, like, yeah. He needed this, like, yeah. About who? No, I don't know.
Right, Doom Ost.
Doom. The Doom original soundtrack. Yeah. I get it.
It's like it's a Mick Gordon.
Yeah,
Shit,
yeah.
something like that.
By the
So
way.
epic. And we need the bass guitar.